Celia is very interesting. She's a character that is an attacker, but she's an attacker in a little bit of a different way. The way how she functions, she's able to summon kins to her side. Now, what are kins? Kins are these little dudes that are going to pop up, and they're going to redirect all the damage that Goddess Celia would take to themselves. Not what the entire team takes, only what Goddess Celia herself takes. She can spawn up to a maximum of 4 kins, and with her skill, she's able to spawn a singular kin. If you want to spawn all 4 of them instantly, you technically can do that if you use the True Art. The True Art gives you all 4 kins as soon as you use it, and that's all the True Art does. Now, the kins aren't just there just to redirect damage, they're also tied into her passive and her super art. On her super art, she's gonna kill all the kins, Y and W melee them, you know what I'm saying? Then she's able to buff up her own super crit rate based on the amount of kins that were sacrificed. So if you sacrificed all 4 kins, then you get a total of 80% super crit rate during your super art animation. Also, she gets 100% crit rate as well, which only lasts for the duration of her super art. I mentioned the passive, and that correlates to this too. Every time you sacrifice a kin or a kin is killed in battle, you increase your own damage by 30%, up to a maximum of 600%. She has one other thing in her kit that kind of like helps everybody, which is her art. She's able to buff up human allies arc gauge by 30, and then she's able to reduce enemies light res by 30%. Not too bad if you're using her on mainly a human team. Her other passives too are okay. The main one here that I really want you guys to look at is good condition arc gauge up level 5. This gives her 5 arts per second when she's above 90% HP or more. Now, this is actually kind of insane because I don't know how the kins work exactly. I don't know if they are affected by like damage mitigation effects and all that type of stuff. I would assume they are. I would assume it almost is like another unit on the field. Hey, one of you guys may know, and if that's the case, leave it down below in the comment section. But just having the kins there just takes some more damage off Goddess Celia. But here's the thing though, the kins only redirect for Goddess Celia, not for the entire team like mentioned before. So you can't really use her as a taunt tank, because I've seen a lot of people say this character is a tank, but not necessarily, because it doesn't really work like that. But one thing that I am kind of worried about here is how exactly does it work with, like, you know, redirecting damage. Like, for an example, if Kirisami's on the field and he's already redirecting damage from the entire team and the kins are on the field too, is he going to redirect the kins damage as well? Or are the kins still going to take damage, or how exactly is that going to work? In my head, it's going to work as Kirisami's just going to take all the damage instead of the kins taking any. And if that's the case, that's perfectly fine. But if it doesn't and something breaks, I wouldn't be surprised, because we are running on spaghetti code here. Another issue I have, if you use your True Art to summon all the kins onto the field, and you want to use your super art to get crazy amounts of super crit rate, I feel like a lot of the kins are going to die before you're even able to use your super art in harder content, unless you are using a taunt tank or some type of damage mitigation. Another issue I have with Goddess Celia is the fact that she doesn't have any kind of art gen apart from that 5 arts per second with the passive, which is really good. But even her true weapon, which her true weapon is insane, by the way, I'm pretty sure everybody who's a light nuker out there is gonna want to use this true weapon, which is Shangri-La. Shangri-La is if the user is light, for 10 seconds you reduce the enemy's damage res by 20%. If the user is light and above 80% HP, you reduce the enemy's damage res by 35% instead. Also, when equipped by Goddess Celia, you increase your own damage and skill CT speed by 30% and your own crit damage by 20%, which that crit damage buff is just a regular old passive that literally works for everybody no matter what. Now, I've been talking about Goddess Celia a lot, and I kind of want to like move on to the rest of the banner here before we like, you know, give the verdict and everything. But the main thing is here is that whenever you use this unit, I want to make sure you guys know that you're getting an attacker. Goddess Celia has crazy damage, crazy super crit rate, and definitely is a force to be reckoned with if you invest into her and you have the right team comps, and you can make her work, because her game plan is a little bit unique. I don't think it's going to be finicky at all, but some people may find it a bit more annoying than just using a character like Sunraku, for an example, that has 50% super crit rate and just pops off, you know, just by using the super art. But still, she does have some use. Also, the art gauge on the art, very good on human teams, not going to be used too much outside that. We actually have her sister on the banner, which is BF Mira. Pretty solid character. I personally don't really like her too much. I think that she's kind of a little bit lacking at times. I mean, it's more so just because Sunraku's in the game. If Sunraku wasn't in the game, then I would have a more positive outlook on this unit. But she's a really good fire character. If you just got Summer Iris and you want another arch for your mono fire team, she's a great character to pick up. She's able to give everybody who's a fire unit 8 art gauge. She gives everybody else just 6 arts per second. If you use her super art, she's able to buff up her crit rate and attack. if the enemy is below 50% HP, you get 50% super crit rate, which is very strong, and you also get 50% more damage against enemies under 30% HP. Really wish that was at 50%, but you know, it is what it is. She also is able to reduce the enemy's physical res with the art. She buffs up her own art gauge with the skill, and the only real issue I have with her is she feels like she doesn't do any type of damage, and the fact that she doesn't have some type of support slot for being more of this like sub attacker, you know, support slash attacker role character she's kind of going for. Miranda's on the banner as well, still an insane taunt tank, very good magic taunt tank that you can use against any type of magic fight, and she's just gonna go crazy in. If you wind up summoning on this banner and you get Miranda and you didn't have her, that's still a dub. Sunny isn't as good as she used to be. I also think this unit's in the unit of choice now, if I'm not mistaken, and she's okay. She's mainly a support slot holder for nuke teams. Her nuke buffs as well aren't too bad, being able to give everybody on the team like 30% arts damage. She's also able to give freeze and paralysis resist 100% on top of that, which is actually a little bit of a sleeper buff there. That's definitely good against some fights. Dark Celia is also on the banner. She's not really going to be doing any type of major damage anymore. She's from a time that unfortunately is long gone. Now, since we talked about all of the characters, let's talk about the verdict of this banner. Should you summon or should you not? And I'm going to be talking to all of my new players here first. I actually think that you should do at least a multi on it. There's a lot of characters here that would definitely benefit you. If you want to getting BF Mira, she's going to be a solid arch general for you. If you just start playing the game though, you probably have Hoka and stuff, so you don't really need to go after this character, but it is another option. Another thing is that if you want to pick up Miranda, amazing taunt tank, she's going to be able to help you out so much in so many different game modes. Sunny, very good if you ever want to get into nuking. So for all my new players, do a summon and you should be good. Hopefully you get something good, by the way. Now for all the vets, if you care about Goddess Celia in any way, shape, or form, you should probably summon for this character. She's pretty solid as an attacker, and you could definitely get a lot of work done with her. One thing I will mention though, which I just actually came across, was the fact that she has a thing here in the servant details, which I want you guys to look at one line here more so than anything, which is the very bottom. Servant count resets between battles. That means that whenever you change stages, your servant counts go back down to 0. That sucks. That is a negative of her, but you guys are gonna have to take into account if you're gonna be using this character with her servants and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say from all my vets. Do a summon at your own discretion if you want to, but if you don't care about Goddess Celia, if you don't care about BF Mira, then you could easily skip this banner and there really wouldn't be any repercussions because yeah, this is a very free skip for a lot of people. But hey, that's gonna be it for this video. Tell me down below what you guys are gonna be doing. Thank you all for coming out though. It's me, World P. More than likely we're gonna be getting another crazy maintenance notice or something like that next week, because that's when Kill la Kill ends. So very likely we're gonna get a new crossover announced or something crazy is gonna be coming next week. Either way, thank you all for hanging out. It's me, World P. If you enjoy this, check out either one of the other videos popping on the screen right now. Great content, guarantee you love them. We'll probably be doing a summon video, maybe like a one and done summon video tomorrow for Goddess Celia, just to see if we can walk away with something. But for the most part, I'm going to be skipping this banner more so than anything. So I'll see you all there. And oh, one more thing before I leave. Don't forget to drink water.